Hey, this is Vladas with DoYouMonster.com, and in this video, I'm going to show you how to use Zillow for business intelligence. In other words, how to spy on other real estate agents in your area for free. So I'm sure you heard that Zillow has recently expanded their search feature. Visitors can search agents and see their sales history among other valuable statistics. Primarily, of course, this is a tool for consumers. So if somebody is looking for a real estate agent to represent them in any transaction, they can go ahead and see how many sales they had, how many reviews they have, and in other words, this turns Zillow into an online pageant for real estate agents. That's what it is. However, real estate agents can also use this to spy on their competition. It's a perfect tool to see what's working for other real estate professionals, who is doing what, and what ideas you could borrow to boost your own profile on Zillow. So let's go ahead and go to Zillow.com and take a look. Alright, so this is Zillow's homepage. Let's navigate to agents. Let's pretend I'm looking for a real estate professional, and I'm looking for a real estate professional in a particular area. Let's do our iconic zip code 90210, and let's take a look. So of course, these are folks that are paying Zillow to promote them. These are featured real estate agents. Now, in my opinion, I'm sure there are always going to be some people who will click on those profiles, quite a few actually. But then again, since they look a lot like Google ads, like Google AdWords, a lot of people, in my experience, tend to scroll past the featured first. Whatever the platform is, whether it's Google AdWords or any other kind of ads, anything that's very first, that's featured, that's different from what is perceived as organic search, sometimes actually gets skipped. So if you don't feel like paying a lot of money to Zillow to be promoted, it's not the end of the world. There are other ways to be discovered or seen on Zillow. So now let's take a look at the structure of this Zillow pageant here, okay? As you can see, by default, I didn't change anything, I didn't click on anything. By default, Zillow sorts all agents in any search as most active, not by their most sales, but by most active. And this is actually great news for you if you're not exactly a superstar. So obviously the best thing is to have the most sales. That's one of the best components, and that's something that for a lot of people, for a lot of prospective customers, they're definitely going to choose a real estate professional with more sales over somebody who has no sales. So that's important. However, Zillow recognizes that would put a lot of real estate professionals in a disadvantageous position. So they did this favor sort of for you, and sorted real estate professionals by default as most active. So what can you learn from that? Is that if you are being active on the platform, and I'm going to talk in a second on how to do it, you might actually be on top and still easily findable in your area, even though you have few sales. Like, look at this guy here. The Escobar group has no listings and no recent sales. However, they have a lot of reviews, and they've been active on the platform, on Zillow platform, and they are number 3 on the search. So let's open up the first lady here, and let's point out a few things, what we can learn, what is she doing right. So first of all, she has a strong tagline, not necessarily a very sexy tagline, and that's important. So if you have something that separates you apart from the rest of the folks, put that in your tagline. And no, most of the acronyms, they do not qualify as a good separator, as something that separates you from the pack. I know this is big news for most of you, and you probably would like to argue that with me, but from the marketing standpoint, to an average person, to an average prospect browsing Zillow, they don't mean anything. They mean nothing. So even though they may mean a lot to you personally, it's great. You're doing continuous education, you're learning something. For an average person, attorney and MBA means something. If you also put something like a sexy tagline, and I'm going to show in a second what sexy tagline is, that would mean more than 3-letter abbreviations of your certifications. Trust me, don't even bother putting them in the tagline. You can put them somewhere at the bottom, somewhere in the body text, that's totally fine, but don't put them in your major tagline. So what else? Of course, she has her sales and listings, which is great. Let's take a look at her website, and as we do our research, and I've done this research prior to this video, so I'm just now pretty much sharing my discoveries with you. So if I click on her website here, and make sure your website is always filled out in Zillow, it's a little slow, but what I wanted to point out is her website is her first and last name. It's not a generic website of her company, it's her first name and last name. Again, unfortunately, the website isn't loading that fast, so that's the problem. But as we look at other top agents who are ranked, who are first found on Zillow, that's something that's repeating feature. They have personalized websites, not a generic website. And let me click on one more person here. He has 0 recent sales, although he has great reviews. And again, if I click on their website, it's again Jacob Lavian. This is his first and last name, and this is a common theme. And by the way, this gentleman here with no recent sales and no listings, he's still highly ranked. Why? Because as we spoke earlier, Zillow looks at activity, and there's been a lot of activity. What I mean by activity? So he has great reviews, and apparently he's been logging on a lot, and that places him high in the Zillow rankings in the 90210 zip code search. You can also notice that you can do individual, and some users, some visitors will do that. They will look at individual agents to see who is performing best. And then of course the rankings are different because teams are gone now and we're looking at individuals only. Now this gentleman is one of my favorites. Why? Because he has a very full profile. So if you're doing your research and you're looking at different profiles and comparing them and looking for takeaways for what to borrow and how you can make your profile stronger, he's a great example. So he has what I call a sexy headline here. He doesn't have MBA, he's not an attorney, as opposed to the other lady that we looked at earlier. So he did something different. He came up with a slogan. So locally known, globally connected, 35 years experience. And don't you agree that a lot of information has been squeezed into this one headline? What also ranks him high is that he is very active on the platform. So he has boards. So he's been pinning boards and posting images. And he has a welcome video. By the way, when I did research and looked at different real estate professionals, still the area where you can improve and definitely stand out compared to other real estate professionals is by having an intro video. And by the way, this is an ideal length. This gentleman, he just nailed it. 1 minute, 32 seconds. So anything between 1 minute and 2 minutes is ideal. And as you know, video is really big. People are reading less and less, and they're wanting to watch videos more and more. So if you have a welcome video on your Zillow profile, that will propel your profile. That will help you rank higher. Not only that, it will also help with your conversion rates, because one thing is people clicking on your profile and looking at it, and another is actually getting leads, generating leads, having people contact you. Another feature that I want to point out is if we click on advice, this gentleman is very active. He has done 28 contributions and 9 have been voted as helpful. Now let's take a look at what contribution is, what constitutes a contribution. So users, home buyers, home sellers are posting questions on the platform, on Zillow platform. And so what he's doing, he's answering those questions. That also gives you points And now if you click on this, he has an award here, the All-Star badge, which is given to somebody who constantly shares their real estate knowledge. So these little things, see, you have to understand your platform. You have to play by the rules. If you go on different platforms, if you go on Zillow or Facebook or Twitter or your own website, and you do the same thing everywhere, you're not going to get great results, because you have to respect your platform. You have to know the options you have to promote yourself. And again, this gentleman, by the way, whom I have no idea who he is, I've never met him, I just did the research on this particular zip code, and he stands out. And so whatever he's doing, I'm sure that's working for him. And as you can see, it's not a big deal. He actually given very brief, very short answers to a lot of questions. So what I actually encourage you to do is seek out those questions and provide even longer answers. So remember, nothing helps you stand out. Everybody has a license. This is what my good friend, attorney here in Los Angeles, Paul Horn, says. Everybody has a damn license, and that's true. So what separates you is whatever makes you look as an expert in the eyes of buyers and sellers. And things like that, contributions, boards, being active, and answering questions, makes you look like an expert, and this is how you stand out. Now, your area can look very, very different, and I'm sure it does look very different compared to 90210. So if I put a different zip code, let's do some other random zip code here in Los Angeles, you're going to see a very different picture. There's some reviews here, but not a lot, and not that many recent sales either. A lot of people don't have any sales here. So what you need to do is to look at your particular area, pick the winners, see who the winners are, see what they're doing right, what makes them rank high, and improve on those areas, find their weaknesses. So to sum up, steps you can take. So first of all, obviously evaluate situation in your local zip code, in your local service area, and then make sure your primary website contains your first and last name. I spoke about it in different videos. If your first and last name are very common and you're not able to buy this domain name, then play with it. Insert first letter of your middle name. So again, johnsmith.com. If it's not available, do johnjsmith.com or whatever your middle name is. Insert the first letter of your middle name. If that's not working either, add a neutral third word such as johnsmithunlimited.com. It's still better. It's still going to rank you overall on the internet better than having a generic Remax website with your name after slash or dash or subdomain or something like that. Number 2 is be active in the Zillow community and create content. We covered that, but I cannot stress this enough. Have an intro video. A lot of folks on Zillow still either not aware of this option or did not bother to put their intro video, and that's important. That will help you stand out. And then finally, have a plan on how to generate reviews. Let's be realistic. An average person, an average client of yours are most likely, they're not gonna bother going on Zillow.com and leaving a review, especially if you did them great service. Unfortunately, you know this better than I do. If you provided great service, people are gonna, just be happy about it, and end of story. If they're not happy with you, they're more likely to go online and complain about it. That's just the situation, that's just a human mind. That's how it operates. So make sure you have a system in place to generate reviews. So after a successful closing, make sure you send an email to your seller and include a direct link to your profile and brief instructions on how to leave a review on Zillow.com. Then follow up a few times and say, look, this is really important for me. Can you do me a favor and share your thoughts about my service? I hope you found the information I shared valuable. Just so you know, if you like what you see, we also have a full proven and guaranteed solution that will take you from 6 listings a year or less to 1 listing a month or more. Visit www.doyoumonster.com or click the link under this video and you will be able to learn more. Ideally, go to doyoumonster.com and click on Wednesday webinar. There's webinars, and then click on Wednesday webinar. Register for Wednesday webinar. That's the one that I personally do. So you can definitely learn more about what we have to offer in terms of real estate marketing and getting more leads. Thanks for watching this video. I will see you in the next one.